been on, as we've been talking about this, it's started to occur to me that the name Crew for Hire might not work for this game anymore.
I kind of saw that coming as we were changing, we were dropping a lot of the character names and the identity. So that's not a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just the name, the term crew, like these groups of people in these factions that are running around and accomplishing tasks, it's not really a crew. It's not a starship crew. It doesn't have a specific hierarchy, really. Like, right. We imagine that there's one character that's like the leader of this group. But honestly, we might not even need that. We might not even need leaders anymore. We could just have agents, and you're just a collection of agents of that faction that are going off and doing the thing. I mean, maybe leaders are still good to have, like, functional for the game itself. Right. You always have one character like out on. Yeah, like you always have that one benefit in front of you on the table. But it really started to happen when I was thinking about not just crew, but then crew for hire implies that you are going around and gathering up extra people. And even as we developed the steampunk game more, it became less like there were fewer and fewer like extraneous people to go and pick up out of the resource pile.
That's very true.
Uh-huh. It became your starter deck was your people, and then you were going around acquiring like maybe some extra equipment or boosts to like help you on a specific task. And so like the whole name Crew for Hire just it doesn't seem like that's a fit anymore. So of course that got me thinking, well, what is the game about?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We imagine that we have these jobs, right? The jobs can say anything, but the basic idea is you go to a place and you accomplish a task that requires a skill, and then you attain points based on that. Uh-huh. But last time, with the whole 13 Spiders thing, that have kind of introduced a secondary currency to the game of people being runners for pure. Like that's a very attractive task that I think some players might gravitate towards and want to go and just do that to get their points.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we can kind of make that the path of least resistance and definitely make that a basic aspect as well as, the jobs and whatnot. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as long as obtaining pure has the same amount of risk involved that any other task does and takes about the same amount of time.
Right. And the singularity does move some. So, I mean, there's going to be some adjustments that they have to make. But getting into the singularity has always been a task in itself.
But we have interesting thing about our game, in my opinion, is we have a singularity that connects to an alien planet, and the alien planet is rife with a foreign element that is powerful, mutagenic, and also can be made into a controlled substance that could become very, very popular.
Right, that is driving the narrative.
And so if that's driving the narrative, then maybe the game should just be called Pure.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm digging that.
It's our number one rule is keep it simple.
Yeah, it is monosyllabic.
Yeah.
That with an E or without.
Well, without an E, then that's a company that makes water filtration systems.
What if it's got two U's?
Then that seems a little bit too Swiss. Like you walked into an IKEA, and walked up to this bookshelf and it says "Pure." No, I think we could just spell it like it's spelled. I think if we have Pure and then a tagline, the tagline will take care of what people imagine it's about. Oh man,
I like just
what if
Pure and then like whatever symbol, if we choose a symbol for Pure, and then just like the three color and
the skill icon.
Like without the actual icon in the middle, but just maybe the color and the shape.
Or no, not the skill icons. Maybe the factions. There's 3 factions as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they are also 3 colors.
Mm-hmm.
What if the box was white?
Right.
What if it was like stark white, Pure logo, tagline, maybe faction symbols, and maybe we play with like a shadow, either a silhouette or some techie lines or something that makes it look techie, but like it's white and really light gray, like just barely there. But otherwise looks nearly stark white.
It feels like you're getting like a high-end like set of headphones or something.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they like high-end product packaging. Yeah.
Yeah, generally.
Like tech packaging,
packaging really does kind of I identify that with a high quality product.
Yep.
Stop hitting your mic, David.
I'm trying to. I'm too animated for these stands. Guy that talks with his hands is handcuffed.
I can't remember who it was I was watching on Twitch that this one guy did this and wiped out everything in front of him.
Oh,
and
no.
Dude, I couldn't stop laughing.
That would be me.
He was so mad. He was like, fuck it. I'm just going to talk. Can the microphone hear me? I don't need a camera on me.
I don't need a camera. This is Twitch.
Oh my God, dude. I was laughing so hard, man.
I like this.
Yeah.
And then the back of the box could have like the components and like some more art and stuff like that with, but still kind of a white background or something like that.
I think because if it looks like a nice product shot, just on like it's almost existing in a white void, that would look really nice.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to make sure we can work into the budget and spring for the UV coating on the box so it doesn't like dirt and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like every designer out there is like, avoid white, don't do white unless you're using UV coating, then it's fine.
I was going to say, even then, wouldn't UV spot coating over the gray look good on a matte box?
If we did spot UV, that would be really, really cool. That is an extra cost, which is why I thought maybe just a color shadow to work with first. And then if we wanted to, we could work in a stretch goal for spot UV.
Yeah.
So if we get enough backing and we know we can take on the extra cost, then we say, hey, if you guys help us get to this amount of money, we'll do a spot UV version of the box.
Sexy box.
Yeah. And there are people that back it for the cool packaging.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when we did Thief's Horde, I sold out of the wood boxes because people were like, holy shit, that's a cool wood box.
Yeah, it was very, very cool.
Did you end up with one of those, Mark?
I did not. I never did. Yeah.
Well, I've got an extra. We'll make sure you have one.
He still owes me a wood box from Materia.
Do I? Fuck you, David. Not doing it. Actually, I think there might be like an unfinished one sitting in the garage.
I would take it.
Does it have a little post-it note on it that says David?
Probably.
It might have been the first prototype that was like where the drawer was loose or something.
Right.
Oh, that's right. The last one I gave you like gave to somebody else or something. Like you had for a relative or something that bought one of the wood boxes? Or was that Thief's Horde?
That was Thief's Horde.
Okay. So anyway, back to Pure.
Which is number 3 Kickstarter for those just tuning in.
Yes.
So Pure is going to be the name. So if that's going to be the name, which I think we're pretty settled on at this point, then that means everything about the narrative, about what the players are playing towards, all of it has to circle back to this substance in whatever form that is. And in the game, it feels like it'd be in its raw form most of the time, though Pure will appear in alien technology, and then there could be enhancements that have Pure in them or require Pure to operate, maybe. Though if Pure is a means to win the game, then having other ways of spending it will probably become completely irrelevant.
Right.
Like, nobody's going to use Pure to buy an enhancement to go get more Pure if they can just consistently bring Pure back to the city to earn points.
Unless it accrues more space to carry more or something like that. That would be the only reason I would spend it.
I mean, like, we have opportunity here with the jobs or missions that, because you could be running Pure for 13 Spider. Or if you pick up a mission card, you're running Pure to specific other places or bringing it back to a faction
for R&D or whatnot.
Or something like you're building, you're running Pure for your faction, right? And sort of building up that bank of stuff. So either Pure is exchanged or Pure is the victory points.
I would say exchanged if you're running it. Otherwise, you're just going to hoard it.
Right.
I do want to rewind for a second and going through the Singularity and getting the Pure and whatnot. There was some kind of risk involved, and there's a reason that nobody just goes through and lives in this empty alien world that seems to be habitable. It's to a point.
Well, we never said it was habitable. We just said that's where it is.
Okay.
It's an abandoned place because if it was a livable world,
you'd think everybody would be moving through.
Then people would just start colonizing.
Right. So there's got to be a reason we don't colonize. There's
maybe it's bad atmosphere, like you can only spend so much time in there. And we have to presume that the ships are capable of traversing over to the alien world for a certain amount of time before they have to come back.
Right.
And things like actual starships would not fit through the singularity because it's too small. But things like these sort of mid-sized ships that we've been thinking about that carry just the collection of agents that the player has at their disposal, those would fit through the singularity to go to this other place through the wormhole. Yes, there should still be risk involved with them collecting up the pure, but only in the traveling to and from. Like going through the singularity should come with risk.
Right.
And when they botch that, then they just don't make it through.
Okay, so
and
it's like you got to be traveling 88 miles an hour,
or you're just not going to make it.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to be like Love, Death, and Robots where you get thrown off like thousands of light years off path and end up in a giant spider galaxy where they mess with your mind and convince you that what you're seeing is real.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
That one was trippy.
Yeah,
that one was trippy. But that was one of my favorites. I like that one.
So maybe just the factor that it's radioactive material is enough because the planet would be radioactive, you know?
Yeah, they can only carry so much on the ship. Yes, because it's radioactive and you can only carry so much of it without everybody just dying.
Right.
And it breaching the containment. So we have specific containers that the pure has to go into, and then the ship can only carry so many of those.
What if it actually costs refined pure to go in?
So you have to have raw stuff that you refine
to protect you from the radioactive material to gain access to get more raw pure.
Then how do you start with some refined? Yeah, I guess you just buy it.
I don't know.
I mean, we have crypto.
Yeah.
So they could buy it.
Yeah.
But then that means that's a resource gate to accomplishing the task. Where then that means that the missions are the least path of resistance. Because you can just pick up a mission and go, yes, I'll go do this job for you. There's no buy-in to picking up a job. So, but the jobs require that you perform a skill at a specific location. So if you got to the location that had the singularity, you would have to perform a skill in order to pass through and do that successfully.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is that something like we had the time portal deck in Crew for Hire? Would we have a deck for this, or is it just a static skill check?
I'm trying to remember. The time portal cards was different though, because those were like you'd pick those up and those would be like beneficial.
Oh right, I'm thinking of when we still flipped the map.
We don't do that no more.
Right. So how did we do it? Was it just a skill check to go through the time portal? Because we still had a check.
Hang on, I've got notes.
I know, and it's so hard for me to do it on my phone versus your computer.
If you occupy the same space as the time portal, you may use a fly action to move to the ruined world. You must draw a hazard card for moving into the ruined world. After the hazard is resolved, roll a die. If it's an even number, draw another hazard. If it's an odd number, continue with your turn.
Oh, okay.
So we had the hazard cards would pull up random skill checks potentially, and then there was a 50-50 shot of whether you had to continue making those checks.
Right.
Or if you could stop and you made it through. So it was more like a progressive thing. And that rule did make quite a few people avoid it entirely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's this weird balance between how much risk a player is willing to take compared to other paths of obtaining the same points. So that's why I said if pure permeated everything in the game, even jobs, then that means everybody would have to get through the singularity
on a regular basis,
go get some raw and bring it back to accomplish whatever they're trying to accomplish, whatever they can do to get the most out of it. Like maybe 13 spiders and selling them pure is the least resistance as far as like just running it back and forth, but you're going to get the least points out of it because you're giving them raw stuff. On these other jobs, you're taking it to a specific location and then it's like getting transformed into something that's refined, and then you take that to somewhere else and you get a lot more points out of it, but you're also taking extra steps.
Right.
So we're going to have to make sure that we can balance that. When you're going on a job, you're flying to a place and you get one skill check that happens. And then if you succeed at that, then you get the benefits, which, like in the transport job on the Steampunk game, if you succeeded at the skill check, then you would pick up a certain number of crystals from that location. and you'd have to transport them to another location, and you would do another check to drop them off.
Right.
And then you would get the points. Sorry, I had to think for a second. So getting to the alien world means that there should be one skill check. If we made this one static skill check, which would probably be tech,
Right.
which also means that every player is going to want to make sure that they have some tech available, if they want to go and get pure.
Right.
They do a basic tech check, and then if they succeed at that, they have passed through the singularity, pure, and then we can make them take a check to enter the alien world, but then to leave, they can just leave.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And then when they get to 13 spiders, then they would need to use influence to sell it, because in the idea of the transport job, you do a check when you get to the place to pick up the stuff, and then you do a check when you drop off the stuff.
Right.
And so if drug running for 13 spiders, basically that's a job that just always exists as a default on the map. This is just something you can always do if you haven't picked up from the job pile or something.
Okay.
We just need to make sure that this doesn't disincentivize people from picking up job cards, but we also don't want to over incentivize people to pick up job cards, because then they're not going to run for 13 spiders. So a light just went off in my brain.
Are you having a stroke? You smell toast?
We're getting deeper into the mechanics of why pure is the main narrative of this game, but I have an idea that has to do with jobs.
Okay.
Let's continue this in a minute.